The film I've chosen to analyze is Christopher Nolan's Inception. This film revolves around a thief who steals corporate secrets through the use of dream sharing technology. He's given the inverse task of planting an idea into the mind of a CEO, but this leads to a tragic disaster. This film was edited by Lee Smith. It uses a lot of parallel editing, from high speed action sequences to slow motion sequences, and also while multi layering the dreams.
I will split up my father's empire. Now, this is obviously an idea that Robert himself would choose to reject, which is why we need to plant it deep in his subconscious. The subconscious is motivated by emotion, right? Not reason. We need to find a way to translate this into an emotional concept.
How do you translate a business strategy into an emotion?
That's what we're here to figure out, right? Now, Robert's relationship with his father is stressed, to say the least.
Well, can we run with that? We could suggest to him breaking up his father's company as a screw you to the old man.
No, because I think positive emotion trumps negative emotion every time. We all yearn for reconciliation, for catharsis. We need Robert Fisher to have a positive emotional reaction to all this.
All right, we'll try this. My father accepts that I want to create for myself, not follow in his footsteps.
That might work.
Might? We're gonna need to do a little better than might.
Oh, thank you for your contribution, Arthur.
Forgive me for wanting a little specificity, Eames. Specificity?
Inception's not about being specific. When we get inside his mind, we're gonna have to work with what we find.
On the top level, we open up his relationship with his father. Say, I will not follow in my father's footsteps. Then the next level down, we feed him. I will create something for myself. Then by the time we hit the bottom level, we bring out the big guns.
My father doesn't want me to be him.
Exactly.
3 layers down, dreams are gonna collapse with the slightest disturbance.
Sedation. For sleep, stable enough to create 3 layers of dreaming, we'll have to combine it with an extremely powerful sedative. Good night. The compound we'll be using to share the dream creates a very clear connection between dreamers whilst actually accelerating brain function.
In other words, it gives us more time on each level.
Brain function in the dream will be about 20 times normal. When you enter a dream within that dream, the effect is compounded. It's 3 dreams, that's 10 hours
I'm
times
sorry,
20.
maths was never my strong subject. How much time is that?
It's a week, the first level down. 6 months, the second level down, and the third level.
It's 10 years. Who would want to be stuck in a dream for 10 years?
Depends on the dream.
So once we've made the plant, how do we get out? And I'm hoping you have something more elegant in mind than shooting me in the head.
A kick.
What's a kick?
This, Ariadne, would be a kick.
It's that feeling of falling you get that jolts you awake. It snaps you out of the dream.
Are we gonna feel a kick with this kind of sedation?
Oh, that's the clever part. I customized the sedative to leave inner ear function unimpaired. That way, however deep the sleeper still feels falling or tipping.
The trick is to synchronize a kick that can penetrate all 3 levels.
We could use the musical countdown to synchronize the different kicks.
He hasn't got any surgery scheduled, no dental, nothing.
Wasn't he supposed to have a knee operation?
Nothing. Nothing that I'll put him under for anyway. We need at least a good 10 hours.
Sydney to Los Angeles. One of the longest flights in the world. He makes it every 2 weeks.
Well, he must be flying private then.
Not if there were unexpected maintenance we're displaying.
It would have to be a 747.
Why is that?
So on a 747, the pilot's up top, the first class cabin's in the nose, so no one would walk through. But you'd have to buy out the entire cabin and the first class flight attendant.
I bought the airline. It seemed neater.
It looks like we have our 10 hours. Ariadne, terrific work, by the way.
The establishing shot of the sequence is a group shot, reintroducing us to the characters as a team. Nolan has positioned the actors in such a way that their eye lines are all focused towards Cobb, giving him the position of the leader. The wide shot also shows us the space that the scene takes place in, a warehouse, the location for all the scenes in the real world. We cut away to a medium wide shot of Cobb, his dialogue continuing from the previous scene. When Cobb gets up from his seat, the camera also tilts upwards, following him, to keep the audience in step with Cobb and to keep the momentum of the scene going. Using close-ups to the newspaper clippings along with the accompanying dialogue from Cobb gives us a backstory on Robert Fisher, and for us to gain an understanding into the team's thought process. Immediately, we cut to Eames in a medium close-up because he's got an idea and our focus shouldn't be on anyone else but him. We're still aware that he's facing Cobb. We cut back to Cobb, who dismisses the idea. There's a cut back to Eames and Arthur while Cobb talks. Arthur is writing down something, sitting in a more engaged position while Eames is more laid back, playing with a poker chip. In this frame, we get an idea of who these characters are based on the way they're sitting. In terms of mise-en-scène, the chairs that Eames and Arthur sit on are also completely opposite. One, a swivel chair with wheels which has a recline, and other, a metal folding chair. They're subconsciously solidifying the idea of who's more stable and who's more at ease. It cuts back to a medium close-up of Cobb as he highlights an important factor about their mission. When we get inside his head, we're going to have to work with what we find. This shot implies the importance of what Cobb's saying, and
Inception's not about being specific. When we get inside his mind, we're going to have to work with what we find.
our focus is placed completely on him, his dialogue foreshadowing the challenges they will face. The scene of Yusuf's dream world begins with a wide shot showing the team and the location in which they are in. Eames explains his idea in a full shot while we see everyone around him move around, examining the world. We cut back after his explanation to Cobb in a medium-wide shot. He completes Eames' thought. Using this cut, we see that there's a rhythm being established amongst the characters, making it an entertaining dynamic for the audience. The montage continues of Arthur and Yusuf in a lab. In this medium 2 shot, Arthur is asleep in a chair while Yusuf is monitoring him. We see Arthur sleeping. He's testing out the new chemical that Yusuf was talking about. This part of the sequence can be used as an example of discontinuity editing, where instead of showing the conversation first and then Arthur and Yusuf in the lab, the editor establishes the lab first and gives background on it. This creates a feeling of disorientation for the audience. The following part of the sequence shows Ariadne leaving, but diverts to where Yusuf is sitting and she stumbles on Cobb dreaming. Here we see a medium shot of Ariadne and then it cuts to a wide shot where we clearly can't make out what Yusuf is doing. The scene makes us feel like we're watching from Ariadne's point of view, where what is revealed to her is revealed to us. The next part of the sequence has a team talking about one of the themes of the film, time. The conversation which involves Eames, Yusuf, Cobb and Ariadne and cut to each character in medium shots. The quick cuts between each character keeps the momentum that was established in the first scene and reiterates the rhythm amongst the characters, which keeps the audience engaged. Back to Arthur asking another question. He asks about what the idea is to wake up from the dream. Cobb replies, a kick. This term has been used throughout the film and will be used again. To demonstrate, Eames tries to tip over Arthur's chair, and Cobb explains that the feeling of falling snaps you out of the dream. The scene continues, Arthur calling back to the strength of the sedation, to which Yusuf replies, won't be a problem. The sequence cuts back to the lab, where we see how the kick is still effective even though Arthur is asleep. The discontinuity editing here has allowed for time to be played with as the conversation about the chemical happened at different times and the experiment with the chemical happens at different times. And this allows Nolan to almost do a talent show instead of having a disconnect between the explanation and the presentation, in a way using discontinuity editing to make a linear point. Eames and Cobb are now in a different location talking about the last part of the plan, where they'll get 10 hours to have Fisher to themselves. The piece begins with almost a sense of intrigue and mystery and creates a mood for curiosity. As the scene progresses, more of the team's plan unravels for the audience to understand and learn. It crescendos right towards the end when all the pieces have fit together and the plan has come into place, giving a satisfying end to a very efficient sequence. In conclusion, while the sequence from Inception may seem like a simple planning sequence, underneath it hints at much more to come in the film, while also giving us a better idea of the characters and how much we as an audience are yet to discover. Thank you.